Hi,
Hi,
Nancy.
Nancy.
We're doing Collage Club, and you are with us.
Yes,
Even though not
absolutely.
spiritually, physically, we're with you. We're with you. And so she was doing okay, but it's been really hard with the COVID and stuff, and not being able to see people or anything.
Oh, I bet.
John's been bringing, her son's been bringing her food and groceries. She hasn't been out because she's very susceptible to any kind of infection, and she's been doing immune therapy. But she started to have, I guess, some pain. She started getting into pain. And so this last, because I saw her Sunday, I went by and sat out on the porch in the backyard and talked with her for a little while.
Oh, that's good.
And so it was really nice to see her. And I'd been talking to her on the phone and stuff like that, but I hadn't had a chance to see her. So I was really glad. And at that point, she didn't know what she was going to do, but she wasn't in any pain. So it has progressed and gotten worse. So she's having blood transfusions and stuff now because she's losing blood.
And I guess maybe her son shared that because all the hospitals are in kind of lockdown, there's no visitors. And so that would suck, presumably. So a virtual Collage visit is probably, it's something. It's, but it ain't no guacamole and brownies.
I know. Anything chocolate, too, right? She's amazing.
I may have to go find some chocolate and just bring a chocolate something out here. Just for the heck of having some chocolate.
Now I'm missing chocolate.
Yeah, I'm looking at glue sticks and I'm like having a reaction of wanting brownies. Like there's an association now.
And don't forget, Nancy did this sneaky thing with us where she introduced wine, and now we drink wine with our chocolate brownies.
Yes.
They're fabulous wine from her son.
I have mine.
Oh, good.
You're prepared. That's good.
I'm out. Everybody in my house is now legal, and they're in the stash, just like trotting back to do their various Zoom meetings with my wine.
Rex drive by.
Yeah,
other people that were making sure they had their quantity backed up in case this happened. So I had one friend that I've got to get my wine ordered, Right. And I'm like, okay, we all have our own priorities.
Yeah, I'll know next time. Get 50 pounds of flour and a case of wine. That's
flour for sure.
Yeah, because I had the toilet paper crisis because we didn't hoard. I thought, oh, surely people won't do that. Well, silly me. So I had to. Somebody from Iowa sent me a care package.
Really?
Yeah. One of my friends, and
that's so funny.
But then I finally found some on Amazon, but of course it's the commercial kind. So I ordered it, not understanding that I was getting such a huge quantity of it.
So now you're going to be selling it on the black market, right?
Exactly. No, I have enough for the end of the millennia.
Okay. Golly.
So yes, I got caught in that whole toilet paper scandal. So
I have a friend she's in an apartment, and the apartment complex delivered to everybody one roll of toilet paper, and it was wrapped up, and it said, "Thank you for rolling along with us."
Oh, how funny.
Cute.
Somebody's using that. They're smart, for their promotion and stuff. That's clever.
And I have a sort of an exciting thing. My daughter was living in New York City, right?
Wow.
And so I'm like, panicking, of course. But she up and decided to move. So she and her husband packed up a van and left New York at the end of April and drove to Washington State, the other COVID.
Oh my gosh.
And they are now ensconced in Washington State. And so far, so good. They're not ill, and it's all good. But it was quite the trip, because there's nobody on the roads, nobody except.
And they moved strictly because of the COVID?
No, they had been thinking, their lease was up in July, and they were thinking of moving anyway. And they were like, well, we should stay because of the lease. And I'm like, just leave. You're at home, you're being held hostage at home anyway, just go. So they did. They just and her job let her keep her job. So she's working in New York, but living in.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Great.
So it all worked out really well for her, and I can go in terms of, because it was bad. I have many friends in New York, and many of them are ill or have family that's ill or what, and it's ugly. It's just not pretty there at all. So
Well, I have 2 children in New York City. One is a lighting designer with no work. Broadway's closed down, so all her shows through January are closed, and so she's pretty panicked. But
Did
she
she
is
apply
well.
for the PPI? Did she apply for the PPP?
Yep, she hasn't gotten her stipend because, of course, freelancers are the last to get anything.
Right. Well, that's
And
good.
her union, which is Scenic Design Union, has told them that they can only offer them insurance, not for very much longer. So I don't, she's pretty panicked. But
Yeah.
like, just be well. And she usually goes to Williamstown Theater in the summer. That's canceled. Her alley show was canceled here in April. So it's like, there's not much you can do. You just got to hang in there. And then my son, who's a grad student at Pratt, he's online, and he decided to give plasma because he's O negative, because they need it very badly. And they gave him an antibody test, and he tested positive.
Really?
Wow.
So that was very interesting, because we were all in Costa Rica together, and none of us got ill. And he was with his sister prior to that, and she never got ill. So we had a COVID researcher do a talk at Rice, and I attended the talk on Zoom. There was 500 people who attended, and I asked him, and he said that an antibody test means that you were exposed, does not mean you had it, and that you were able to fend it off, and you developed antibodies. So he said that it's likely he never had it. So it was pretty interesting. But there's not enough tests. So he had one because he went to give plasma. They gave him one. But it's pretty bad still.
Did they take his plasma?
They did. They took his plasma.
They probably want that plasma, right?
Yeah, I mean, he went in just because O negative is just valuable plasma, and they're just so desperate, and it ended up being antibody plasma.
But that's the good thing, right?
Yeah. And he's healthy as can be, and he's fine. He's just hanging out. He's trying to get to San Francisco because he has an internship there. I'm like, oh, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Is it still going, the internship?
Yeah, they told him, oh yeah, we're all on. And then at the last minute, they were like, do you think you could push it back 3 weeks? And he's like, no, I've got to start school in August. So he's just kind of trying to figure out what to do about that.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Is your daughter in 829, USA 829?
I don't know the number, but she's in Scenic Artists, so.
That's it.
I'm sure it is that, yeah.
That's my union too.
Yeah. She's, yeah.
He is a former PVA parent too.
Yeah, she went to PVA in lighting design.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Do they have your same now? Do they have your last name? Pia?
Oh, Bird?
That's the kid's last name?
Yeah, her name is Isabella Bird.
Is she a visual artist?
No, she graduated in theater. And then she went to Cincinnati Conservatory of Music and production design with an emphasis in lighting design.
What about the Pratt kid?
Oh, my Pratt kid, he went Columbia undergrad in poli-sci, and he is doing urban design at Pratt.
Nice.
He's a transportation. That's his expertise.
Cool.
When did they get out?
Pratt?
Of PVA, sorry.
Oh, PVA. Isabella. Oh, on my other son, he went to Lamar IB. Isabella graduated in, let's see, she was a freshman for 9/11, which was what, 2001?
So 2005 or something.
Yeah, so 2005. And I mean, the day she graduated from college, she just got into a car and drove to New York.
Wow.
She's been there ever since.
Wow.
But she, a little brag, she's been very depressed during this whole Nancy, and I just told her to hang tight. And she did receive 2 Best Lighting Design Awards during this time. So
That's
I just
excellent.
want to, yeah.
That's
So
very excellent. Good for her. Yay. Except I
nothing
know
else going on for her. She's a bit. So she's going to do a show at the Alley in April. They just pushed it back to next season.
Good. So I don't hear a lot of scissor. I see Janet is cutting things. Everybody else is.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Hands are
cut
hidden.
something and
Mine's
glue
down
it
here.
and then show it to Nancy,
Ooh,
and
look
then I
at
have to
that.
grade
I
it.
was thinking
Yeah.
that maybe Nancy would be live, but no.
Well, she's probably sound asleep.
Yeah.
I have 2 vintage magazines, and I found this great kind of Zippo lighter image.
Oh, look at that.
I was getting ready to slice it up. I flipped it over, and then I said, see if you can read this.
Oh, look
Wow.
at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
The
So-
problem of making connections, huh?
By Joan Didion. So I'm not going to cut this up. Instead, I'm going to read it, and I'll go on to
That's
the
what
next one.
happens. That's what happens when we start flipping through the magazines.
Always.
Many
So-
times I've found something and it's like, oh, I need to read this. I can't cut this.
You know, Joan Diddy and the Year of Magical Thinking came out right around the same time my husband died, and that book was so valuable.
that is a good book. It is a good book.
I have White Noise, all of her essays sitting on my nightstand.
Kim, have you started the Yellow House? I just started it today.
I'm gonna photocopy this.
I will. How is it?
There's a lot. It needs a family tree. You know how sometimes they have that at the front of the book. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to really try to track everybody. It's probably going to fall into place here. But it's like, it's beautiful out today. There's a little
It
nipping.
is gorgeous outside. I haven't been out much, but it's really pretty out there.
I've got the windows open. I had the windows open the whole first, 6 weeks of our
I've been
lockdown.
able to keep mine open too. It's been really lovely. This
Yeah.
way I can have some cross ventilation and have the windows open.
So what is everyone's plan for Mother's Day? Anybody?
I don't have
The
any.
busiest restaurant day? It's not going to really be the busiest restaurant day.
It's not going to be that for me.
This,
Doug wants to go do a curbside pickup somewhere for a special meal, and that's it.
Well, I had
Yeah.
Mother's Day with my kids yesterday at their house
Oh, nice.
because I'm over there Thursday and Friday to help the kids with their online school. Oh my God. I know that I would fail 4th grade math,
Oh,
science.
It's got to be awful.
But it's fun. It really is fun, sort of. So they need the weekend to all recover.
Kim, are both of the girls at home?
yeah, everybody is kind of behind closed doors doing their, because school doesn't end until
Oh, right.
next week or the following. So finals are coming up, but Anna is TAing for something, and Grace is still kind of doing her college from Spain, but it's now on American time, so that's kind of
Right.
weird. So yeah, it's between
Is it Anna?
everybody being behind doors and then Zoom gatherings at night, we're just not seeing each other all that much.
And was it Anna who's looking at graduate school in the fall?
Guess where she's going?
Right.
Alabama.
Alabama? Is she?
She's heading to Alabama. Yep.
Wow.
What's she studying?
Chemistry.
Oh, okay.
So she's
Forgot
she's
she
all,
graduated. Oh my God, I owe her
yeah. So I have
card.
to figure out how am I going to have a graduation, for her sometime this
I
month.
know.
Something. And it didn't really strike me until I was looking at all the kind of images and letters, and Ann Christensen had a kick-ass letter on her department webpage. And then I got really like, misty about, oh, we're missing all this. And yeah.
So they're not going to schedule one? Like
They'll do it in June of 2021. But, it'll be, by then your mind is in a whole
wow.
new place.
Okay, because
So,
UT is doing theirs in January. But like you said, like we don't know, right? It could be.
right. You just don't know.
So how do you guys feel about going back, opening up the stores and all that kind of stuff again?
Not so good.
Not so
I'm not
good.
comfortable with it.
I mean, I'm not planning on getting out unless I have to. And I go to the grocery store maybe every 2 weeks, but that's it.
Exactly. There was a girl came over to have a socially distanced visit with my younger daughter, and she needed to go to the bathroom. And it was kind of like a family debate about, and we finally we were like, no, you're not coming in to use the bathroom. Sorry, which is terrible. I feel terrible about it, but that's just,
Well, my sister-in-law and nephew wanted to come at the end of May, and we finally told them, you can't come. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, why are you driving for no reason to come here? You stay at home. And
They're just getting so bored, they want to do something.
but I don't feel comfortable with it because they both are working outside the home, and both of them, and they're going to drive from point A to point B and have to stop at public. And I'm like, nope, I don't think so.
right.
So
It is complicated. I have a senior at UT, and he's coming back and forth, and
we just
has
rose.
5 roommates. And I'm thinking, like, well, where are your roommates going? Like, so he's exposing us. But I don't know. I mean, you can only control it to a certain extent.
Right.
Well, and I mean, if this continues for 18 months, I mean,
How do we deal with it?
They locked up like this for 18 plus months. So to me, it seems like at some point we have to make some sort of cautious but reasonable decisions about getting out. I mean, because we can't either emotionally or economically or in any way stay locked up for 2 years, 18 months, whatever.
Is anybody getting like their hair cut or anything like that yet?
Nope.
I'm
My
going
own.
like,
You cut your own. That's
I
impressive.
cut my own, and there was a joke on the internet about there's no more blondes after 4 weeks. Well, thanks to Clairol, I'm still blonde. I did my own highlights and I cut my hair. So
Wow, Zana.
Yeah, it looks good too.
thank you.
He and I are in the same book club, and we had a remote session recently. Everybody looked like they were from 1973 to me, because their hair had just
Big
kind of
hair.
grown to this certain, I mean, it looked great, but
Everybody was not looking there.
they were just looking very retro, like
Very retro. It's a good word. And I laugh because I'm zooming with all these guys, and they're like bushy beards and pretty hilarious.
Yeah. And does everybody have masks and things? Have you been wearing masks?
yeah.
When I go out, I do, but I don't notice that many people with masks.
Well, I made mine.
Yeah.
So I had to have my first kind of work outing to pick up a big enough check to go meet somebody. And I asked this businessman, would he please meet me outside of his office building with this check? And I said, I want to feel safe. I don't want to get in your elevator and
Right.
run. He said, fine. He brought the check outside. He had a mask in his hand. He wasn't even wearing it.
He wasn't wearing it?
No. And then he walked out and proceeded to, and I had my mask on and I was backing up, and he was just like chattering right in my face, and I just kept backing up, but he did not take the clue.
Yeah.
So,
There are people that don't get it, I guess.
yeah.
Is it they don't believe it, or is it they're just
I think it's a
lazy?
conspiracy or something. They don't think it's real.
Yeah,
I think he thought that holding the mask was all that he really needed to do.
Did you see the lady
People
that,
walking around with the mask up underneath their nose or hanging down on.
yeah.
did you see the lady that had the mask and she had cut a hole in it? And she's like, ah, finally I can breathe.
Yeah,
It's like, lady, you're not getting this.
yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
You know, I have mask and gloves for my studio, which I wear, especially since I had cancer in 2016. And so I've ordered I mean, I've got some, but I've ordered them, but I don't get any until sometime in June.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Well,
so
they'll need
September,
them
but
in, I'm sure. So,
Well, I had a box
I
of
wear masks
gloves.
and gloves everywhere.
Yeah, I have a box of gloves, and I made masks for Doug and me, and I also sent some to a friend of mine. Asked if I'd make some for her and her father, so I sent them some masks.
Yeah. And I mean, I know it's limitation, but I still like to wear it. So.
I made one for myself, so.
My glue stick is kaput,
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
but I have a concept and I might be able to scare up another tube. I'm gonna show it to Nancy and I'm gonna dash because I have to go. But this was fun. Hold on, I think I have more glue.
Show it, I mean, yes, you know.
And then I'll show it.
Flash your
Yeah.
art. When you get a chance. I'm still working on mine. I'm slow.
I have really missed Collage though.
I have.
I
too.
found some more.
It's such a great time to all chat with each other and
I miss seeing everybody, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's my social, really special
is.
social time.
and it
and
just,
this is similar, but not the same because we're kind of getting stuff done, but not really.
Well, we're certainly not getting the good food, that's for
well,
sure.
and then the vibe, just the energy at Nancy's house is so awesome and
It is, yeah.
Well, and she's got such
Colorful.
good stuff too. I've
yeah.
got that much good stuff at my house.
Just put up all your
Yeah,
collages.
such a unique space that there's.
We miss you, Nancy.
We miss you and love
Me
you.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
me
So-
too.
There's
Mine
very
is, I photocopied it instead of using the real book. So I don't know what I'm going to do else, but this is what I got for now. I haven't done this since
Show it
fall,
again, show it again.
Let's see.
so she's not glued yet.
Hold it up still and hold it up in front of the camera.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
I like the little tab on it.
Love it. That's
Yeah.
So I obviously need some words, but I don't have it yet. So, well, gosh, I'm off to the tanning salon. No, just kidding. That's the craziest one, I think. Like, who's rushing to do that? But Kim, I'm so grateful to Kim for telling me about this. Nancy's an old friend, and I admire her so much. And I've wanted to get my hands sticky, so I'm glad to at least start thinking about this. So I love you, Nancy. Great to meet you all.
Good to see you,
Nice to
Ann.
meet you.
Hi, Miss Kimmy.
Good to see you, Ann.
Nice to see you, Joanna. How's your daughter?
She's good. She's graduated and home. Great
Yeah,
time for job hunting.
How tall is she?
6 feet.
Wow.
That's awesome.
She's looking for a permanent job in development if anybody's.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
well, I'm
So
sure
we
she'll
always
be
have
good.
openings at Rice. Unfortunately, as you all know, there's a hiring freeze, but
yeah, she actually interviewed at Rice, but there's a hiring freeze.
yeah.
Did
We
you
always
check
have
the
openings.
art museum? They usually they're looking for development people all the time.
Yeah, I think everybody's just slowed down right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
It'll be back.
Okay, I love you.
Take care.
Bye,
Happy
Ann.
grading.
Great to meet you. Great to see you or meet you. Bye-bye.
Glad you joined us.
Thank you.
No, actually, I was in the group last Friday, and it's a group that usually gets together once a month and does games. And I guess we must have had close to 11 people or something on it, and they were all talking. And one of the people on there had just gone to a ski trip in February, and there was about 500 people at this resort, and over 100 of them got sick with COVID.
Oh my God.
Died, and she and her husband both got it, but they didn't have the lung stuff. But she says, I know that's what we had. We didn't leave the house, but she said it was really frightening because so many people, you know, of that group, and they all came back from all parts of the country, you know, go back to their places. And
Wow.
it's like, ooh, she said, it's not, you don't want to mess with it. It's really serious. So
A friend of mine in New York had it, and she's young. She's like 31 or 2 maybe, and she was in the hospital for 4 weeks, and then she's been home, but she had like a second wave. She got better-ish, and then it hit her again.
oh,
So she's been blogging about it, and she said it is not something to mess around with. And I felt really bad because she's young, and she said it's just like she has no energy. She can't function very well. The second round of it just really took her out, and she's now coming back from that. So she's lucky. She must have a really strong immune system, but it's very scary to hear her talk about it. Yeah, what she says. So
I know, and I hear people say, "Well, it's not as bad as the flu," and I'm going, "What are you listening to?"
Yeah, that's what I say. I've had the flu. This is not like the flu.
Yeah, I did too. I did want to die a few times.
yeah. And apparently the impact that it has on other parts of your body, it's just, they don't even know all of the impact yet. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they have this thing in New York now where it's the mysterious disease that's affecting all the little kids.
What?
And it's a COVID related disease, and it's just terrifying.
I haven't heard about that.
I read about that.
Yeah, I read about that, and they haven't figured it out yet, have they?
No, it is COVID related though, and it's terrible. So, I mean, if that doesn't put enough fear in people going back to school in the fall, I don't know what
Well,
would.
I have a friend. I have a lot of friends who are speech pathologists, right? So another bunch of them work at a different company, and they are still open and still seeing patients. And I was like, "Are you crazy?" And some of these speech paths are in their 60s, and I'm like, these kids are like little germ factories, and you don't know. And I'm thinking, what parent would bring their child out in this? But there are, and they're still functioning. And now that some of the things are opening up, they have opened up more so that they're having more people come. I'm just like, my person does everything virtually on Zoom. She does, all of her sessions are Zoom. And I was just shocked that they were actually seeing patients. I mean, I could see a doctor's office having to see patients, but
And they're still doing telehealth for that. So
yeah, I mean, I had a telehealth doctor's appointment. The doctor called me and said, "I must talk to you." I'm like, "What?" So she called and talked to me, and that was my telehealth visit, and it was fine, But the rest of them, I tried to call one of my other doctors to see if I could do a telehealth with them, and they're not even open. So
well, at Methodist, I did a wellness on the phone, and then they called me a few days ago and said that I can come into the lab and have blood work done. But I just told them, I said, I'm going to wait a month or so.
that's what I said. They wanted me to go in for some blood work, and I said, I'll just wait for what. I don't feel comfortable going in.
So I opened up my phone, and there's a message from Nancy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Came at 1:30.
What does she say?
Thanks everyone, love to all. So she may have tuned in for a few minutes, I don't know, or maybe she just sent us a message.
Well, she didn't tune in because I would have had to admit her.
Yeah, I didn't
She
see.
just responded to the email.
She just knows we're here.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh, she's sweetest.
How do we know it was really her and not a?
It's
Not
that
a
Russian
heifer.
again, Kim.
Yeah. We need the secret password. Guacamole.
Guacamole. Yeah, we should have had a password.
We did.
We did.
It was
Oh, we did. I put
Collage.
collage. Put collage as the password.
So I didn't have to say it. I didn't have to put it in.
No,
No,
that link makes it active. It already inserts it.
Okay.
yeah, I liked that, but I could just do the link.
Has anybody been Zoom bombed? I have.
Oh, you have? I have not, fortunately.
It's terrible. I think I was on line with 15 grad students, and out of the blue, this picture of this middle schooler popped in, and the poor idiot kid like put his name, but he names himself like his real name, so you can see who he is. And then all of a sudden, a video just took over, and it was kind of like a terrible shooting rampage. People
Oh,
tied up, it was like a film he'd gotten off the dark web or something. But we were able to go in and,
I hope his parents were alerted
It was
somehow.
Yeah, I've not been Zoom bombed yet.
I've not been Zoom bombed yet. I hope I don't get Zoom bombed. I do all my clients with Zoom, and I didn't realize the privacy stuff. Of course, they've having so much issues with it. And I was using my private number for a lot of these things. And the other day, I got like a video tape of, somebody, because I have them on so they record, and it was somebody that just got on for a few seconds, and I'm like, who is that? And
that's the Zoom. That's how the Zoom bombers come in.
well, so I was going to try and go back and remove all of the, I don't remember which one it came in. I just erased it. So yeah, they're out there trying, they're out there figuring it out.
So what happens is, all the professors are doing online work, and so what happens is that they share their screen with their students, so their students can go and mark it up. And so this one professor was doing his thing, and a student had drawn a penis and balls on and he didn't notice because he was like teaching this class and looking at his own stuff.
Yeah.
And then we've had a couple other ones where like students get on and they're like, smoking, they're on a bong, or they've got like dark hoodies on, and a lot of porno. It's awful.
Wow.
When I was
They're just so bored. They just got to do something, right? They just.
And they're just, yeah. And so, it's pretty bad.
Well, I retired from MD Anderson in 2009, but I remember one time somebody, and it was actually somebody who worked at MD Anderson, and they immediately got fired because they could track them. But somebody was doing a meeting, and all their PowerPoint and everything, and they were able to jump in with porn. But I mean, he was fired. He was caught instantly. It was kind of stupid.
Do you think he did it, he was looking at porn and by accident it was shared? Or do you think he shared it intentionally?
I think he thought it was funny.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
So,
Where I worked in Florida, they had computer, they had open access computers for people because people had to move around a lot. And so, but one of the ones, one of the guys went in and was accessing massive quantities of porn on, and our tech guy found it like instantaneously, and they had to fire him because he got on there and was downloading like massive quantities of really bad stuff. So yeah.
How could you be so stupid?
That's what I said. Well, how could you be that stupid?
But then, bank robbers all the time write notes on their deposit slips. So who knows?
Well, my granddaughter's 10, and she watches YouTube stuff that's most of it's stupid. But my son-in-law's mother works with the kids on Mondays and Tuesdays, and there was this whole thing on about teaching the kids how to cheat.
What?
How to cheat in school, different ways of cheating on a test, and how to change a F into an A, and all this stuff. And I just went, I don't know.
Everything's out there. I think you can still learn how to make a bomb and all that stuff too.
I didn't understand why all the energy that you put into doing stuff like that, you wouldn't put into doing something positive and constructive. But that's just, I guess my brain just doesn't go there.
But it's really a very crazy time. It has been crazy for a while. And I just hope that this whole experience might raise people's consciousness a little bit.
Well, it's really interesting because my Zoom group from last night, two of the people are in Australia. So their perspective on how Australia is doing with this, and the fact that New Zealand has conquered it, and the fact that, and both of them had lived, but one of them is a US citizen with dual citizenship, and the other one was at one point from Czechoslovakia and then became an American citizen and is now dual citizenship with Australia. And their perspective, watching from the outside of what's going on here compared to what's going on there, is really interesting because they're very organized in how they're opening up their country, and they're flattening their curve and testing people. They're testing like mad. And it's just interesting to hear what they're dealing with compared to what we're dealing with on this side.
But they are, in this talk that I attended at Rice from this COVID researcher, he specifically noted that we can't compare ourselves to them. They are islands.
Right.
The population is like, it's so much easier for them to do so.
That is true. That is very true. And also that fires, it killed a lot of stuff. It helped sort of cleanse stuff. Just so they have that aspect also that we don't have. So, there's a lot of differences, but just the way I think that it was approached there seems to be working faster than here. But yes, we are like 5 times their size. And we're not an island. Well, we are an island. Well, no, we're not really an island.
My sister lives in Berlin, and Germany has done a really good job too, but she reminds me that Germany is the size of California.
Right.
And they're very compliant. They have socialized medicine. They're all getting money.
Right.
Those aren't working. It's just not apples to apples.
Right. And their leader is a scientist. She was a scientist before she became a politician. And so she's very active in looking for cures and vaccines and things of that nature. Although the llama issue is very interesting. I found that fascinating.
The llama issue?
The llamas, they have discovered that the llamas have antibodies that may be useful in developing a vaccine for humans.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't hear anything about that. Wow.
Oh yes, it's
Yeah,
very.
as well.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, something about the llama has smaller antibodies, and that they translate well with humans, and because they're smaller, they can get into more they can get more into cells and things than ours. And so they think that it's a very, and there's a llama named Winter who has successfully, it's working in monkeys or some kind of animal, some kind of test animal, where they inject it and it's helping, it's creating antibodies. So anyway, so I'm thinking llamas may save us all. Who knew?
Same.
They're not just a craft icon.
Exactly. So anyway.
So what about all of these cases running rampant in the White House? I have not done in-depth reading, nor do I want to bring bad karma upon myself, but it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is all that I will say.
And how do they, all these like personal valets who are testing positive, but somehow or another Trump is not.
Right.
So
Yeah,
far.
that's
His daughter, and it's like,
How? Yeah.
is he? What is going on? And he's just too vain to wear a mask, I guess.
I think that's what he said, didn't he? He wasn't going to wear a mask. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
right.
He doesn't feel the need to wear a mask.
He didn't feel a need. What a good role model, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But this increases our chances that he might get it.
Yes, that is true. I keep thinking of World War II when the king and queen and said they were staying, and they kept their daughters in Buckingham Palace, and they said that, you know, this is a shared experience with all our people, and we will stay here to fight the good fight, or whatever the quote was. And I'm thinking, I don't think that would happen in this situation.
Mm.
So that's crazy. Okay, so it's almost 2 o'clock. How long are you guys planning on staying on? How long do you want to stay on?
I
Well,
can
I'm gonna
stay
sign
just a
off.
little longer.
Do
But
what?
Nancy, I wanted to just tell you how much I love you and wish you the best, and can't wait to see you in person. So be well, and miss you so much. So,
Yeah.
and all you guys keep on, you can hang in there for a little bit.
Did you do a collage? Did you do a collage?
No, I didn't. I'm actually sewing.
Oh, okay.
I have a quarantine skirt I'm working on.
Oh, nice.
So that's in another room though, so I'm gonna go. I'm in my garage apartment, which is where my office is set up during the week. So I'm gonna transfer to the house.
Good
And
to see you, Pia.
Donna, you know exactly what my house looks like because we found each other one day.
That's right.
Such a funny story.
I was helping call for the for Elizabeth.
Yeah, in my garage apartment, so you know exactly where I
That's so
am.
funny.
Okay, and they recruited me to call people in, I think it was Nebraska. I was calling people in
Right.
Nebraska.
We had a pop up for Elizabeth Warren in my garage apartment, and I see Donna walking.
I'm
down.
walking across her yard, and she's like, Donna.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
call her name, and she comes in, and she's like, "This is so weird." So we had a cup of tea. It was fun.
It was very nice. Yeah, it was very nice because I was quite surprised. I didn't realize whose house I was
Yeah.
in the garage apartment for.
Yeah. So that's now where I'm officing, which is nice. It's kind of
That would
away
be
from
nice.
town.
Yeah, you got your own little place. So you don't rent that out usually. You keep it.
No, because we have a pretty consistent amount of people that come and visit, and like even when the kids come home, they love to be up here in their own little private space.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So it worked out great, and we have my son in his room and my husband in his office, so there's enough going on in the main house. Okay, everybody, be well. See you soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, take care.
I'll show you the collage I made.
Yeah,
Oh,
let me see.
I
Oh,
like
that's
that.
pretty.
Ooh, fantastic.
That's funny. I can't see it.
And here's my collage. Here's my collage.
Okay, I can see
Oh.
the start of yours. Yeah.
Mine
Oh,
was
that's
from
cool.
and Nancy, mine is from a bag of crap that I picked up from you last Sunday. So I love you and I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day, and we miss you here at the Collage Group, but we will see you again very soon. So
Yes.
you get well.
Get well, Nancy. We miss you.
You can host us again.
Well, I'm going to
Yes.
go too because I just got home. This is a weird thing I'm doing. I'm working with cheesecloth, and this is the first time I've ever put paint on it. So I'm not,
Ooh, that's
Oh,
nice.
it's beautiful.
I'm not really sure what I'm doing.
I
So,
like it though. It's very interesting.
Nancy, my all the best to you. I'm thinking of you and just seeing you well and healthy. And I didn't ever know you until this group. And so I'm just so happy I had the opportunity to be in your incredible home, which is so special. So look forward to being there again. But I don't even know how to get out of here. Is it that little thing down at the bottom? That
It'll
little-
have either end or leave
Okay,
meeting.
leave
at the bottom.
meeting.
Just click on the leave meeting.
I don't see leave meeting.
It could be on the lower right.
You
Bottom
have
right.
to put your mouse down towards
Somebody
the bottom.
It just came on now.
You're gonna have to stay here forever.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Bye.
Right?
Cutting and
Bye,
doing.
Nancy.
And I
Love
wanna-
you.
Okay,
And I
bye.
want to thank Donna for putting it together. Thank
Oh,
you.
well, it was Kim too. Kim's the one that
Oh,
put
Kim,
the
you
And Joanna, yeah, there
Okay.
is.
I just
And
put
Joanna,
it
right.
because
I'm going to share briefly before we all click off here is where I am right now, which
Oh, that's
vintage,
cool.
vintage pages in heart shapes. So it's not where I want it to be, Nancy. I'm going to tear it up a few times and repaste it. But I hope that you are in full on commando mode and just taking charge of things so that you can get out of there. We'll bring the guacamole to the front porch next time. And we'll probably
we'll
need
set
some-
up in your front yard and collage.
Yeah, we'll just have to
It's a
figure
front
out
yard
how to bring
collage.
enough fans and run an extension cord out of
Yeah.
her house and you know, steal wine from someplace. That's the plan. Anyway, Joanna, what do you got over there? Have you?
Okay, so pulled out the old stuff. This is a recipe card that my mom wrote, and then all these little
Oh,
vintage
I like it.
sort of
Oh, I like that.
illustrations out of an old cookbook.
That's really
That's
cool.
really
And I
cool.
may add the fork to it.
It's a real
Yeah.
fork, right? A
Yeah.
three-dimensional
Yeah,
fork.
it's a real fork.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's very cool.
Here we go. That's it.
I like that.
Yeah. So I think we should either mail or take a picture of our work and send it to Nancy today.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea. We could text it
Okay.
to her or
Yeah,
email
we'll
it.
text it to her because nothing makes people feel better than collages.
That's right. Well, and today is actually World Collage Day. Today is actually the World Collage Day. So we were
Who
doing
knew it?
appropriately at the
That's
time.
pretty amazing. Good research, Donna.
So Marcella, what do you have?
I,
Oh, you showed us the little, the three-dimensional thing.
yeah, I do a lot of those. So
Sculptural, more
this is one
sculptural.
of my latest. It's
It's interesting when you put that, when it goes, if it's on your body, then it stays there. But when you move it into the virtual background, it disappears.
yeah, it's very odd. I don't quite understand that, but yes. But this is it. It's just a you know, it's one of my cardboard recycled projects.
That's very cool.
It's
That's-
amazing.
Well, I'm glad everybody could come on, and
Yeah.
I will send you guys. I will share the link if you want to watch it, but I will save it and
Okay.
convert it and save it for Nancy and send it to her.
We lived it.
Great. Thank
We
you.
lived World Collage Day 2020.
2020, yes.
Nancy,
All
I
right.
love you. Get well
Bye-bye.
quick. We want you back.
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
Feel better.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.